That is the Perseverance rover, some 54 million kilometers away from Earth. I want one, but I can't just buy one, so I decided to make my own. And with that, I'm calling it Project June. This is how I plan to build Project June. I've also written a really cool article on my website that goes into much more detail, so check that out through the link in the description. Anyways, the project is made up of 3 main parts: the rover itself, the server, and the client, which is a web app used to monitor and control the rover. First, let's talk about the live streaming system. There are 3 phones mounted on the rover, here, here, and here. All of them stream video back to the server using WebRTC. The first 2 phones are connected over cellular data and are used mainly for driving the rover and providing live video feeds. Next is the telemetry and control. Various sensors feed data into the ESP32 microcontroller mounted at the back of the rover, which I'll explain in much more detail later. The ESP32 connects to the internet through Wi-Fi shared by one of the streaming phones, and it communicates with the web app using MQTT. To control the rover, I'll use an Xbox controller connected to the web app over Bluetooth. Pushing the left stick forward or backwards moves the rover in those directions. When reversing, the web app also shows an animation indicating how close the rover is to the obstacle behind it. And likewise, pushing it from side to side steers it left to right. At the front of the rover is a laser system, a feature I added mostly because it makes the rover look much cooler. And honestly, I think it does exactly that. The angle of the laser can be adjusted using the on-screen controls or the D-pad on the Xbox controller. There is also a light sensor mounted on the side of the rover to measure ambient brightness. I included sensors like these to make the rover feel much more like a space exploration vehicle collecting data about its environment, which admittedly also just makes it sound even cooler. Beside the light sensor, mounted on the mast, is the GPS module. This is probably one of the coolest instruments on the rover. It shows the rover's live position on a map in the web app. So as the rover moves, its location updates in real time. You'll get to see it in action later. The rover also has an IMU to track its acceleration and orientation. I did not end up using this part very heavily. It's more just for the cool effect as well. Oh, and I can't forget about the temperature and humidity sensor. I did not get any footage of it, but you'll get to see it working later. Alright, that's enough talking. Let's drive this thing. And we're off to an amazing start. My camera's already frozen. I'm also going to add that the 1-second control delay has been removed from the video, but it's really nauseating to control. And I was really lucky I stopped at that age.
Enemy spotted.
And that's the first crash. My controls locked up and I could not stop the rover. And of course it took some damage. I'm stopping here to wait for them to pass by, because if I were them, I'd be absolutely terrified if something like that was coming towards me. And that was the second crash. I didn't even know I crashed until I saw the footage. The cell reception there was really bad, so let's move to somewhere else. This is the second spot. It's a nearby park, and oh, did I forget to mention that I'm actually controlling the rover all the way from home. My parents are the ones following the rover around. I need to thank them for dealing with my shenanigans. I'm also surprised at the low light performance of the cameras. I've been there before at that time of the day, and it's way darker than it looks on the cameras. There's a slope here. Let's see how fast the rover can go. And that was the third crash, a really bad one at that. I will show you the damages later in the video. My front facing camera dropped out about now, so I asked my parents to swap one of the side ones to the front. Yikes, and of course it had to be my phone and not any of the other older phones. I should have known better than to use the phones without a case or screen protector. It sounds like such a no-brainer when I think back about it now. And now I'm just trying to drive this half-wrecked rover back home. Alright, damage report time. Okay, so the back completely fell off. Wow, that's what happens when you use hot glue for everything. It did not even try to hold on. And there goes the GPS as well. That's the motor driver that was acting up earlier. Well, at least none of the sensors were damaged, only the rover itself was structurally damaged. That's it for this video. Oh, maybe check out some of my other videos, but they're all school related, so it's gonna be more boring than this one. Alright, bye bye.